Hi, I'm Parker.
I'm Tim.
And this is the Rage Podcast, where today we are going to talk about, how do I want to say it? Something that the world does, yet we don't know that we're doing it.
And we are really good at it.
Really, really good at it.
Yeah.
Skepticism.
Skepticism.
So, well, Tim, let you give the definition of skepticism.
What does it mean to be skeptical of something? Being skeptical of something means I'm having a hard time believing it. And I go into a situation with pre-decided doubts.
Yeah.
Okay? So I've already, even before, this happens a lot when we look at our phone and it's ringing and it's a telemarketer. That experience you have when you're thinking, do I want to answer? That's skepticism. Because you have pre-decided, preset doubts that in order to overcome it, it's going to have to be an amazing sales job. Yeah. So that's what skepticism is, and it's preset doubts that we have about whatever it is we're talking about. And today, in this day and age, skepticism is everywhere.
And we do it, and we don't even. It's natural, It's natural now. It's what we do.
It's our natural setting because we're skeptical about everything.
And we can get back to that, but I think we should give the other side of it which we now, and then we can kind of...
Yeah, Parker and I had a conversation. So what's the opposite of skeptical? And what we decided is being gullible. And being gullible means you automatically go into a situation already believing whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever.
No questions. So it's like when I pick up my phone as a telemarketer, and I just pick it up and go, yes, I'll take it. You know, that's being gullible, and that's, I think we all would also agree. Well, not as common today is still a problem. Not the way you want to go through life.
So let's go back to skepticism.
All right.
And what are some of the let's give the example of in life how we do it and we don't even know really how or why. Okay. I think the majority of the conversation, if I were to break down when I talk to somebody who I don't see quite frequently, so just like a person I know but I don't know them very well, and it's just going to be a small talk conversation.
All right.
I think the number one starter to majority of those conversations is skepticism. And hear me out. So you're doing something and somebody catches you, you're in the grocery store.
Okay.
And you're doing something, okay? You're doing say you're doing a good deed for something, okay? Whether it's picking up something or something fell on the ground or moving it to the other aisle where it belongs, so forth. And somebody asks you, "Why are you doing that?" Mm-hmm. Like what makes you do that?
Yeah, that's skepticism.
It's obviously somebody we know and we don't. But like those conversations, I feel like those conversations happen. Like what are you trying to do?
Yeah,
here?
What's your angle here?
And we can go into that into another way. It's like, why do we always need something to do something good? Mm-hmm. How we think of everything right now. We see anyone doing any good deed, and the first thing we think of. What's that guy's motive?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, what is he running for office?
Yeah. They see you giving of your time or giving of your ability, and people are like, "Are you getting paid for this?" Those kind of questions. That just denotes skepticism, and that's the way people approach the world.
It's all the time. So often we're just like, why is that person doing that?
And I think the more, shall we say, altruistic whatever it is you're doing is, the more skepticism comes to it.
Yeah,
the people are more skeptical because nobody's that good. Nobody does things for a good reason anymore, and we all know that's false. I mean, we know that's false. There are some people. We hope you're looking at two of them right now, who are doing things because they're the right thing to do, and we do things because they're good, and we're trying to help and make the world a better place. All these things, but it seems like though a lot of people look at those organizations like what's in it for you. A lot of charities. A lot of churches that are doing good work. I'm not talking about social clubs, but churches who act like churches. They're like, what's in it for you? Or you just want more members, or you want more money so the pastor can get paid more, which, by the way, I can tell you that's not how that works. And so, we just are skeptical about everything. And that I think the danger of that, the problem with that is what it robs us of. It takes things from us to be skeptical.
It's the start. It's the start of a lot of other negative actions.
Absolutely.
Because once you see that, so what... Skepticism starts, well, I guess what feeds into it is it's always when somebody's doing something good is when, or trying to do a good deed, when a lot of the skepticism little light bulb in your brain goes boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So you see, why is that? Is it? And I think it's because human nature is, well, why am I not doing that?
Well, and I think it also comes from, you ever been around little kids? They'll literally believe anything you tell them. You tell them you have a dragon in your pocket, and they're gonna believe you. And you get burned on that a few times. Suddenly, next time you're like, I don't know, he really does have a dragon in his pocket, and that kind of stuff. And you have that experience enough times where somebody comes along and says, hey, I have this great thing, this great opportunity, and you get burned by it. Well, the next time somebody comes along and something seems too good to be true,
it's the act.
It's tough.
So it's the act of being played in a gullible situation that
taken advantage of.
We don't find the middle ground. We just go to the other end of the spectrum and
it's like
become
a pendulum. It just swings all the way over.
And
there.
we can become completely, I can't even say it anymore. Skeptical.
We're not skeptical
of everything.
We're skeptical of Parker's ability to speak.
Can I speak?
Yeah. We're all skeptical of Parker's grasp of the English language. What we're working on here.
But that's how it goes. We have one experience, and then we automatically think this person's in it for the wrong reason.
Or we think that everybody's in it for the wrong reason. Right.
Yeah. It's completely full swing.
My definition of skepticism is predetermined doubts about what's going on. Well, we get those predetermined doubts, and now we assign them to everybody.
Yeah.
Clearly, anybody who looks like they're in it to help isn't, and we doubt them.
We think everyone who's in it for any help. It's
right.
Which is not too good. One reason and one negative thing is because now, the people that do try to do good in every way, in every organization that's out there to do some good. And we have this group of people that start to make up, it's almost like we're lying about a certain organization. Like they're only doing that to get money. They're only doing that for this and that and that and the other.
And don't get us wrong. Organizations do have a motive.
Yes,
they do have something, but that motive doesn't necessarily have to be not for your best interests. Go ahead.
So now we have, and I think that limits a lot of the good wills that people have. Is what people will think of you if you just go up and start doing stuff, get involved, and then people ask you the question, why are you doing this? And and the simple answer is, just because it's for the greater good, but that doesn't satisfy, what we want to hear. We want to say, oh, it's for money. Oh, it's for this award. Oh, it's for this, it's for that, and so forth,
And that's that robs us of so many good opportunities, because skepticism, if you step into everything with a healthy, or unhealthy, I should say, skepticism or unhealthy doubt that the situation has not yet earned, your caution may become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not saying that somebody who wants to help you will suddenly rob you if they think you're skeptical, but I mean, a lot of things you may not get involved in. I mean, there are people, I am sure, and I'm sure Parker knows them too, that are at home on Sunday morning rather than coming to church because they're skeptical about what goes on there. And they're not going to give it a try because they don't want any facts getting in the way of their opinions and those kind of things. And that's really sad because, I mean, not that it's going to shock anybody. Parker and I are certainly advocates for people being in church. And it's always sorry, no matter what the situation or motive is, that would keep somebody away from the church. And when skepticism is that can be a very dangerous, poisonous attitude in your life. It destroys a lot of just basic human relations. Marriages. Skepticism can destroy a marriage in a heartbeat.
It's just, there's so many things that it's good to have, but it's not good in a large amount.
Yeah, small doses, because you don't want to be gullible. I mean, that's equally as damaging as being skeptical. But there's got to be a balance between, okay, I'm willing to suspend my skepticism to be able to have this experience or step into the situation, but that doesn't mean you want to jump into every single one. But man, you're living life never outside of your comfort zone if you don't get over your skepticism, because that's where your skepticism wants to keep you, is in your little box.
And it won't allow you to see just the good that is in the world. I mean, like, if we let it go so far, all it does is continue to grow, and next thing you know, it can go into. I'll do a chain of command. Okay, so everyone's a little bit leery of what we hear on the news, right? Fair enough. Okay, but then now we hear local news, and we get newspapers, and we get this, and we get I think it's like a little chain reaction. If we let it get too much of this one thing, then it can be easily applied to this part of my life, and this part of my life, and this part of my life.
And chokes everything. Yeah, skepticism in one area of life can certainly bleed over into others.
And I think that's what the problem that we have is right now is, and I guess the state of the world that we're living in is we're really skeptical of one thing, okay? But once we become, overly suspicious, and it becomes way easier to get into our everyday lives, into marriages, relationships, and so forth.
And we see this in a lot of things out there now where people are angry at politicians or angry at world events or angry at the situation, whatever. And that anger suddenly means not only do I think that this, and I'm not going to give any specific examples, but this particular political situation should have went one way or another. Therefore, because I'm so upset about this, I'm going to throw everything else out. And I'm going to make sure I don't do anything to ever be affiliated with the people who made that decision. And suddenly you're going through life with all these self-imposed landmines. Well, I could never go back to church because one time somebody was bad there. Or I could never go back to Walmart because they're nothing but greedy capitalists, which, other department stores aren't, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. But, or I could never go back to McDonald's because I had one cheeseburger that wasn't good. And suddenly, everything has these landmines around it. And that's put there by skepticism. And I'm never going to allow myself to step over that again. Now, if you've had a number of bad experiences with, say, an individual, yes, it's probably good to be skeptical. But one bad experience that I'm never going to try it again, man, you're living in a very narrow rut at that point. And that's too bad. Yeah,
it's almost like doing your own science experiment, in a sense. It's trials and stats of, in gaining the information about groups, truly. Yeah. I mean, you don't think that's how we do it, but in our brains, that's literally how everything works. But once one bad thing happens by one organization, then boom, and if we just cut them off, and we get a lot of... Yeah. That's not the way to be going about these situations.
And I see this in church a lot too. People will drag their teenagers to church. Teenager obviously doesn't want to be there, and they're sitting there making sure absolutely nothing happens that they might enjoy. The music may be good, too bad. The preacher may actually have a good sermon. I'm not getting involved in that. I'm not going to talk to anybody around me. I'm going to have a scowl on my face, and I'm going to be closed off. And then it leaves they had a bad time. Of course you did, because you never allowed yourself to step by your initial skepticism about going to the event. And I think a lot of times we get poison experiences by not allowing ourselves, or not allowing the experience to be able to affect you in any way. And of course you didn't enjoy it. It'd be like going to the movie and blindfolding yourself the whole time.
Yeah, and that's what I think a lot of us are doing in a lot of situations. Yeah. And I think it is a prime example of of the church of you have, not everyone here is a good person, and and
all the time,
all the time and everything, and there'll be some bad situations that happen, but is it that one thing that's going to stop you from ever trying it again?
Oh, I'm sure in my 20 some odd years of doing this, down through the years, there have been plenty of people who quit going to church because I did something, said something, was something, wasn't something, went somewhere, didn't go somewhere. I mean, pick your thing. And overall, I try to be a good person, and I try to say sorry when I can, and I try to apologize when I need to. But all in all, that's judging me with a very, very microscopic, here's this one event that was bad, and I'm never going to allow anything else to come around that.
And it all goes back to the trickle down, I guess, what I was saying. We have, because I'll be honest, we have the big TV preachers, okay, who aren't known for the best rap, okay? And then, it trickles down to people like Tim in his career, and be like, he's
people who think Joel Osteen is a joke, and they assign that to me, which don't ever compare me to him, by the way.
But it's what we do, and I think a lot of people, if you don't give it a try, how do we know? It's all what we're doing is, when we're skeptical, is denying all opportunities to see the real side of certain situations.
Because I don't want to be talked out of my skepticism. Yeah. And that's no way to go through life. So. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, be careful of skepticism. It's something that can be that can build. You're building your own fences around your own life to make sure I don't experience anything outside of my comfort zone, and it's no way to live.
And and find the middle ground in everything.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah. Don't be gullible.
Don't be gullible.
Yeah. Don't watch this video and say, "Well, they think we have to go with everything."
Yeah.
No, that's not what we're saying. But at the end of the day, if you allow your skepticism to be the driving force in every single situation you ever come up to, then you get another name called pessimist. And that's skepticism leads to pessimists, and you don't want to be that. So
try to find the I guess it's try to find the good in the things that you don't even see every day.
Yeah.
It can all. I think if we have a lot of gratitude towards the little things, I think it's the first way, because it's hard to get over this once we.
It is. Once you go down that road,
yeah.
It is tough.
So I think I'll give a hint at a cure, and it's just find the little gratitudes in life. You know, the little things that people around you do, and the city does, or the state does, and just be thankful for some of the good people actually do.
Okay, and I'll add to that one little thing to go along with what Parker just said is, don't judge an entire organization by one piece. Don't think I once had a car with a flat tire, therefore I'm never going to own a car again. Don't do that. Is it frustrating? Yes. Is it hurtful? Yes. Do you never want to do that again? Absolutely. But you also don't want to deprive yourself of the experience of driving,
of some
and
of the
owning
great
a car,
opportunities
and
and the good things that come your way by
by cutting everything out because of one bad experience. So, all right. So don't allow skepticism to fester into pessimism, because that's going to rob you of a lot of joy of life. Is that a good summer up?
Oh yeah, best way. Said well.
All right, guys. So go out there and try something new this week. Something you may not have tried for a while, and see what happens. And good luck with it. Anything more?
I'm good.
Have a good week, everybody.